Go ahead and close your eyes, and we're gonna hop right in today. And I want you to turn your awareness inside. And the theme today is that we're going to work on living inside of the experience that we're having. Oftentimes we have this idea of what things should be versus what they are. Maybe we find a new area in the body, or there's some intensity, or something's unexpected, or we're fatiguing quicker, or we feel really great. And that's unexpected. And what I want you to find today is your capacity to just sort of dive in and live inside of the experience. That you take in all of the textures, all of the information, and stay present with it instead of needing it to be different. And of course, steering your practice and your judgment around that. So if you need to modify, do. But it's this deep awareness that you're diving into. And so start first by painting the inside of your body with your breath. Living inside of each half breath. So as you inhale, notice where are these pockets that ordinarily go unobserved in our regular breathing pattern. Just living inside of the lungs and spreading it out and feeling this expansion. And as you exhale, feel this collection back to center. You feel the rinsing out of the lungs, the stabilizing through the midline, and even the elongation through the spine. Living inside of each half breath. Just turning your gaze inwards. Keep coming back to this again and again, knowing that once we open our eyes, our tendency is to exterocept, which is live outside of the skin, which is a quality of humanness and necessity inside of being human and having a life and being in the world. But that we continuously build that skill of turning inwards and learning to live inside of the experience we're having. Bring your hands to your heart, please. Exhale and gently bow your head inwards. And just set an intention for your practice. How can your practice meet you today? Exactly where you are. Let's begin with Om. Inhale slowly. Exhale, release your hands. Gently open your eyes and come to tabletop, please. Your time. As you arrive, spread all 10 of your fingers on the mat. Your wrists are right underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. Push the floor away into simple cat-cow. Drop your belly, but think of this in segments. So the pelvis is going to lift, then the upper back is going to drop in, and then you're going to lift the throat and the face. Exhale, tuck the pelvis under, pick up the rib cage, and then tuck your chin. So in these 3 segments of the spine, lift your pelvis, drop the low back in, drop the rib cage in, and then open the throat and the face. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage, face comes in last. Just slowing it down and living inside of the experience of these 3 segments of the spine. So our low back, our thoracic spine, our ribcage part of the spine, the cervical spine. And just feeling them move through space, mobilizing the spine, but also just tapping into this very center part of you. You're gonna take one more. Pelvis, rib cage, cervical spine. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage. Drop your gaze in towards the heart. Neutralize your spine, nice and flat, drawing around the sides of the waist, and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment in down dog to kind of feel through the body. Morning time, our body tends to be a little more honest about what is cranky and stagnant and needing a little bit of attention. Spread all 10 of your fingers and you push forward with the hands, a little slight bend in the knees so the top of the thighs go back. That way you can maximize the length in your spine. And then take a big inhale and broaden the skin on either side of your neck. So you can drop the head, but the ears will stay in between the shoulders. And stretch your heels up, push your big toe ball mounts down. So lift high, high, high through the inner heels. Lift your sitting bone skin up even higher. And then exhale, press your heels down and pull your front ribs down towards your pelvis. Inhale, lift your heels up, soften the knees, lift your sitting bone skin up. And then as you exhale, press your heels down and pull your front ribs towards your hip points. Then look forward, take a walk to the top of your mat. Inhale the whole time. Spread your toes, soften your knees enough that your thumbs can easily come to the floor in your forward bend. And then just let your head dangle. Living in this experience of the head below the heart for another moment, I like to imagine that the heart is infusing my mind with all the qualities and attributes of the heart. So finding some gratitude, finding love, compassion, courage, kindness, and just letting that marinate your brain for a moment. Spread your toes, push into the floor with your feet so you feel the strength downwards. And then use your inhale to come up halfway. Show me your heart. Roll your shoulders back. Relax the sides of your neck. And then exhale, fold. Drop in. Good. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, come up halfway. Roll your shoulders back. Gaze forward slightly. Heart forward. And then fold. Touch the earth. Thumbs easily come to the floor. 1 more time. Halfway lift. Top of the thighs back. Slide your rib cage forward. And then exhale, pull yourself together. Push from your pelvic calves into your heels and rise all the way up. All the way to stand. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, turn your sternum forward, lengthen your spine. Place your hands down and step all the way back to chaturanga. So exhale, 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 lower down, put your knees down if you need to. Cobra, click your toenails down, curl up, gaze down your cheeks, and pause here. Exhale, press your pubic bone down, push your hands down, squeeze your elbows in, and then pull your hands back so you can feel this articulation in the upper back. But check in with your neck, keep your legs heavy. Take 1 more breath, elbows in, slide the hands back, start to lift and curl the spine. Good, downward dog. Push that. Spread your fingers and your toes. Lift high onto tippy toes. Lift your sitting bone skin up. Exhale, lower your heels. Pull your front ribs towards your hip points. Good, 1 more time. Lift high onto tippy toes. Stretch out the fascia in the feet. Exhale, drop the heels. Pull your front ribs towards your hip points. Good. Walk or hop to the top of your mat. Spread your toes, deep forward bend. From your pelvic calves to your heels, press down. Come all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, sun A again, just a little quicker this time. Halfway lift, turn your sternum forward. Chaturanga, plant your hands. Your eyes are gonna stay forward as you lower. And then find that cobra we did. Roll your shoulders back, slide your hands back as you come up and really anchor the legs. Downward dog, exhale. Take a breath, let's find the tippy toes. Stretch out the fascia of the feet. Exhale, press your heels down, knees can stay soft. Walk or hop to the top. Inhale. Deep forward bend, exhale. Rise to stand, push down, come on up. And sunny again, exhale to hold. Halfway lift. Reach your ribcage forward. Chaturanga, plant your hands, eyes forward. Nice and controlled, lowering down. Cobra or up dog. Inhale, elbows in. Downward facing dog. Good, and then just pause here. Take 3 slow, deep breaths in and out. Through the nose if you can. And living inside of the experience of just sort of warming up the body and heating things up just a bit. Take 1 more breath. Good. And then walk or hop your feet to the top of your mat. Lift your chest. Deep forward bend. Rise to stand, push down, come on up. And hands to heart. Good. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. So your thigh bones are gonna go back. And your hands can come to your heart, yeah. Spread your toes, and then imagine you could spread the floor apart with your feet and you'll feel your outer hips turn on a little bit. That's what I want. Keep pressing your thigh bones down. Lift your sternum, inhale. Take your right elbow outside your left knee and twist. Good. Keep pressing your elbow into the outer thigh. Push your thigh back into your elbow. Keep your kneecaps pointing forward. So even peek down at your own knees. Are your knees in line with each other? And then press into the palms. Maybe notice the burning in the thighs. Live inside of that experience. What's actually happening? What is the texture of it? What is the intensity of it? Take 1 more breath. Press your thigh bones down. Draw the low belly back. Unwrap. Inhale. Reach your arms up. And twist left elbow outside the right knee. So now you might have been disappointed. We didn't straighten our legs in between. Can you live inside of this experience and just notice the warmth, the heat, and stay engaged in the posture instead of just waiting for it to be over? So hard to do. And 2 more breaths. Squeeze the right outer hip back. Press into your heel prints and spin your belly. 1 more breath. Exhale, push your heels down more. Draw your belly back. Unwind slow. Come on up. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold again. Step back to plank. Inhale. Turn your sternum forward. Chaturanga. Exhale. Over or up dog. Inhale. And downward facing dog. Exhale. Take your right leg to the sky, please. As you exhale, bend your knee and open your hip. Squeeze your forearms together and push forward with your hands. Pull back with your outer left hip. Take 1 more breath. Open up the right side body. And then straighten your legs, square your hips. And step your right foot forward. Good. Turn your back heel down. We're coming to triangle pose from the floor. So we have heel to arch alignment. Take your right hand to your ankle, a block, or your shin, and then open your left shoulder up. Squeeze your right knee to straight. Pull your outer right hip back and spin your right lung towards your left lung. Check in with the sides of the neck. Are your traps freaking out? Keep sliding the shoulders down. Hug in around the sides of the waist to lengthen. And one more breath here. Exhale, push down into your feet. Bend your right knee. Warrior two, come on up. Exhale, plant. So the pelvis ever so slightly turns to the right and your ribs turn to the left. Just helps the rotation of the thigh bones there. And in the front body, a lot of times what happens are these 2 points move away from each other. Draw your hips and your ribs towards each other. Hug in around the sides of the waist so you get longer, not rigid, but more insulated. And then reverse your arms. Inhale. Lean back. Exhale. Again, feel that little twist in the pelvis to the right. Feel your ribs spin to the left. And can you breathe into your right lung? Just with a little more precision. One more breath. Good. Cartwheel your hands down. Spin your back heel up. Take your right leg up to the side. Three-legged dog. Rinse it off. Drop your head. Take a breath. Set your right foot down. Take a vinyasa or stay where you are, or take a break in child's pose. So this is an all levels class. You want to make sure that you're meeting yourself where you are and that you're living inside of this experience that you're having. And so if you have plenty of energy to burn, you go through the vinyasas. If you need a moment, if you need a break, you need to recalibrate, you take a break. Left leg to the sky, please. Inhale. Bend your knee and open your hip. And then just pause here for a moment. Pull your right hip flesh back. Outer right hip, pull it back. But then lift your left knee higher. Hug your forearms together, drop your brain, open up your left lung. Good, and then straighten your left leg, square your hips, and bring your left foot forward. Good, turn your back heel down. So we have front heel to back inner arch is the alignment. Push down into your left footprint, and then squeeze the left leg to straight. Maybe you slide the hand up the shin for triangle pose. And just kind of noticing, maybe right arm comes to the sky, maybe right hand to hip. Spin open though. For those of you that are very flexible in the knee joint, there's a tiny micro bend. Everyone lift your quadriceps. Those are the muscles right above your kneecaps to straighten and to fortify that knee joint. And then spin open. Left lung to right lung. Inhabit the pose fully. As you exhale, bend your left knee. Listen carefully. I want you to push down so much that your left hand is light. Right? Your legs are doing so much work. Keep pushing down, and float the upper body up. Beautiful. And then pause. And you set it up. Pelvis just gently to the left, ribs to the right, close the front body, and then stay. And notice where the pose starts to wake you up. Also, maybe notice where the pose shuts you down mentally. Why is this so long? Why did my thigh already start burning? Right? And just notice, and you start to live inside of that experience instead of denying it, like pretending that you're super thrilled about this. Maybe a little too deceptive. Soften your shoulders, and then you just learn to land inside of the circumstance and that experience, which actually is so rich and full of information. We welcome it in. Reverse your arms. Oh, back. Sit into your front knee more if you can. Widen it. Notice, where is the work? Where is the heat? And what does that feel like? And why perhaps do you have such a strong opinion about it? It's interesting when you start to unpack it a little, right? And one more breath. Live inside of what's happening right now. Don't push it away. And then come on up. Warrior two, and then pass down to the floor, spin your back heel up. Left leg to the sky, shake it off. Rinse it out, whatever you need. And then set your foot down. And again, you choose Vinyasa, or stay in down dog, or child's pose. Take a breath. Stretch your right leg to the sky, please. Bend your knee, open your hip. Straighten your legs, square your hips, and step your right foot forward. Good, turn your back heel down again for triangle pose. Press from your pelvic halves to your heels so your hands get light, and then start to spin your left rib cage open. We're just here for breath. Inhale. Push down into your heel prints. Exhale. Bend your right knee. Push down into the earth. Warrior two. And then reverse your arms. Inhale, come back to warrior two. And now side angles. You can do forearm to thigh. Left arm comes by your ear, or your right hand can come inside your foot or to a block. Widen your right knee. And then start to spin your right lung towards your left lung. And it's tiny. It's this inner action that's happening in a way that probably on the outside of the pose, it's not really going to change. But the inside, that ability to change and create interaction on the inside first, is actually really impactful in transformation. Push into your right footprint. Take one more breath here. Press into your feet, spin open, take up a little bit more space. Reach, 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 reach. Keep pressing down, warrior two, come on up. Reverse your arms. Straighten your right knee, inhale. Kind of soak that in, feel that whole right side. And then exhale, hinge. Take your hand, shin, ankle, block the floor, back to triangle pose. Just for a breath, inhale. Exhale. Good. Bend your right knee, take both hands down, spin your back heel up. Three-legged dog again, right leg to the sky. Good, set it down, take a vinyasa, or stay where you are with child's pose. Left leg skyward, please. Inhale. Bend and open. Exhale. Straighten and square. And step your left foot forward. Prepare for triangle pose. So the back heel turns down. We have heel to arch alignment. Press down into the feet to straighten the left leg and start to spin open. Just one breath. Inhale. Can you fully inhabit the pose here? Exhale. Bend your left knee, push down, hug in around the sides of your waist, and come on up. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior, exhale. Back to warrior two. Widen that left knee, and then left forearm to thigh, right arm overhead. Maybe hand to inside of the foot, block your floor. And the arm that's resting on the thigh, if you have this variation, Notice if you're like hanging out and just really using that thigh to support the pose. And I want you to push down into your left forearm, pack your left shoulder into the socket, and find this integrity through the left side of the neck and reach through the right arm. Spin your left lung to your right lung. Get your right pinky finger down. That helps rotate the arm into the socket a little more clearly. And then reach through your right pinky toe. Reach through your right hand. Take up just a little bit more space. Close your front body and spin it open. Beautiful. Push down fiercely so your hands are light, hugging around the sides of your waist, and come on up, warrior two. Reverse your arms. Squeeze your left leg to straight and get inside of that hip with your full awareness. Take another breath. Live inside of the nectar of the release too. And then exhale, Trikonasana. Go back to where we started. And just notice, is it different? Take a breath. Exhale, bend your left knee, get your hands to the ground. Spin your back heel up, left leg to the sky. Good, set it down. Vinyasa or not. Child's pose or not. We're not doing anything super fancy today. Really foundational poses, but noticing how impactful your awareness is as you start to dial into the experience and go inside the body instead of outside of yourself and just trying to match shapes with what you see in front of you. Right? Go inside and start to live inside of your pose, your experience. And notice how transformational that is. And it's actually much harder. The yoga is much harder when we're on the inside. Harder in a transformative way. Not like harder is unattainable. Doesn't take as much to find heat. Take your right leg to the sky, please. Inhale. Step your right foot forward. A little bit of the same here. Turn your back heel down. Push into your heel prints. Triangle pose. Open your left arm up. Good. As you exhale, bend your right knee. Drop weight into your heel prints. So from your pelvis, push down. And then float your upper body up because your legs are stable. Exhale, reverse your arms. Inhale, back to warrior two. Widen your breath. Come into side angle, Parsvakonasana, whichever one you took there. We're just here for one breath. Inhale. Exhale, push down. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Now exhale, half moon. Right hand is going to reach forward. You can grab a block or fingertips to the floor. Take your left hand to your left hip. And I want you just to pause, look down at your standing foot toes. Many of us need to turn the toes back to the front of the room. And just live inside of the experience of how willing your body is to help you out. Your body's like, here, let me make this a little more accessible. And it's so cute. And you just smile at those little piggies and turn them back forward. And then work on anchoring from your right sitting bone down into your right heel. Get out of your toes and get into that heel print. And now open your left hip up. Gaze can be down, forward, or up is a little more challenging. Maybe the left arm goes up. Now, just like we did in triangle pose, pull your front ribs and your hips together. So there's this central space that's organizing the movement. Activate your left foot toes. Live inside of the experience right now. You have one more breath. The trembling, the shaking, the heat, the uncertainty. Can you just go in? And then take your left hand down and square your hips. Pause here. Hug in around the sides of your waist. It's like you put a corset on, and that corset makes your spine longer. Bend your left knee and step back about 3 feet and straighten both of your knees, Parsvottanasana. Your right foot should be a little right of center. Your left foot should be a little left of center. Take an inhale here, come onto fingertips. You can grab your shin, lift your sternum, pull this right hip back, engage your upper back and relax your neck. And then exhale, fold any amount. Lift your kneecaps. Front knee is micro bent. And you're pulling the quadriceps up and noticing, again, living inside of the current experience. It's interesting to kind of watch the mind's tendencies. Like, do you check out? Do you get angry? Do you want to throw something? Do you wish you stayed in bed? Like all of the things that we kind of run through. And it's not something to be shameful about. It's something to just notice. Like, oh, there it is. And then can you drive your awareness back into the tissue of your body and really check in, like what's actually happening in there? What does it feel like? What is the temperature and the texture and the intensity level? And one more breath. Slowly, joyfully bend that right knee. Three-legged dog, spin your back heel up and then right leg shake. Cool, live inside of that experience. It's like, wow, this is so great. Notice the temperature, the texture, the throbbing, the warmth, the heat, the release, the relief. But that we start to loosen our opinions about it. Even when it feels delightful, even when we feel strong and capable, we start to really just settle our mind. Set your foot down, vinyasa or not, into the experience we're having, which is hard. So we practice. That's why it's called a yoga practice. Another side. Left leg skyward on your inhale. We're called yoga practitioners, not yoga performers or yoga. I don't think you're called yoga. Bend your knee, open your hip. Straighten your legs, square your hips. And then set your left foot forward. We're coming into triangle, so set it up, heel to arch alignment. Squeeze, so from the bottom of your left arch, can you pull the muscles up the leg to straighten the leg and then spin open? There's so much we can capture in each posture. Bend your left knee, push down, hug in around the waist and come up, float the upper body up, hug in. Warrior two, bend down and come on up. Reverse your arms, inhale, open your left lung, get more oxygen in there, more breath. And then side angle, left forearm to thigh, get so big here. Warrior two, inhale. Now we're coming to half moon. So walk the back foot in, slide forward, left fingertips to block the floor, but go slow and kind of monitor that left footprint. Look at it. Don't be afraid to look at it. And thank your foot and your ankle for its diversity, its strength. Your left hand should be about 6 to 12 inches in front of the baby toe side of your foot. It just really depends on your torso length. And peek down and just check in with your toes. Are they like talons holding the earth? And can you lengthen your toes and even press your toe pads down? Push into your left heel print. Excite your right leg. And then spin your right hip up as your rib cage spins open. Good. And then check in. Live inside of the wobbliness, the uncertainty, maybe the ridiculousness of it. I think there's days that we're just nailing it. Make sure your left toes are forward. There's other days where we're just kind of a hot mess. Both of them are valid human experiences. Take your right hand down, slowly square your hips. Good, stay here for a moment. Squeeze your inner thighs, pull your chest forward. So look towards me. Squeeze your inner thighs, excite this back leg. Hug in around the sides of your waist. And then slowly bend your left knee and step back. Parsvottanasana. So you're gonna start up a little higher. So grab your shin or come onto your fingertips. Turn this back foot in quite a bit. Left foot is left of center, and you're gonna lift the spine and pull it forward. So your hips are back and your ribs are forward. And then keep that arrangement, that interaction, and then find your fold. Don't just collapse. Don't just give into it. Participate and move into the experience you're having. Even though it's challenging, even though maybe it's more than you thought you wanted to work on this morning. Can you live inside of the experience you're having so you don't miss it? And it begins to enrich you and strengthen you and clarify you. So instead of running away, we learn to stay. Create this laser-like precision around our discernment of what's valuable, what's helpful, and what's hurtful. And if you need it, right, you back off. You have last breath here. What is the texture of what you're feeling right now? What is the temperature? What is the intensity level? Bend your knee, plant your hands, three-legged dog. Oh, wow. Oh. Got a brand new leg there. or you've lost it. Set it down, Vinyasa or not. And using each movement, if you're taking a Vinyasa, to feel your way through the body and notice, like, how can I recalibrate and create more nourishment? How can I recover? Not just how can I beat the shit out of myself, right? But how can I create this relationship with this incredible organism of the body, where I'm looking at it and I'm living inside of this experience, because where else are you gonna live? And then we start to take it in and value the feedback. Okay. We're gonna take all of those shapes and we're just gonna flow instead of holding them, which should be delightful. Super easy. But what I want you to notice is, can you take that same precision of awareness, like we're holding it and you're feeling all these textures and you're feeling for things. Can you take it into the simplicity now of the flow, but and still live inside of each pose instead of anticipating, instead of thinking about, oh, it's almost over, you know, whatever it is, but really work on honing in and living inside of the temperature, the texture, the intensity, and enlivening the pose with your awareness, not just like doing the pose. Downward dog if you're ready. Find your breath. So instrumental in pulling your awareness inside. Take your right leg to the sky. Inhale. Bend your knee and open your hip. Straighten your leg and square your hips. Full inhale. And then exhale, step your right footprint forward. Inhale, turn your left foot down. Exhale, straighten your right leg. And then just your inhale opens your left arm up. Big inhale. Bend your right knee. Exhale, push down. Warrior two, inhale. Reverse your arms. Exhale. Fully inhabit the pose. Inhale, warrior two. Side angle, forearm to thigh or hand to floor. Reach, get so big, get so big. Push down, rise up, warrior two. Half moon. Wiggle your back foot in on the exhale. Inhale, pick up the leg, and exhale, just shine through your fingertips. Inhale, take your left hand down, square your hips. Exhale, slowly step your left foot back. Parsvottanasana, square your pelvis, right foot is right of center. Look up, inhale. And just one exhale to fold. Bend your right knee, inhale. Three-legged dog, exhale. Set your foot down, vinyasa or not. Simple and sweet. Relying on the imprint that we made at the beginning of class. And still examining your experience as you go. Left leg to the sky. Bend your knee and open your head. Straighten and square, inhale. And step your left foot forward. Good, inhale, turn your right heel down. So just make it easy. Exhale, start to straighten your left leg. And then open, spin from your rib cage, right arm to the sky. Exhale, fiercely bend your left knee and push your pelvis down. Hug in around the sides of your waist. Rise up, warrior two, light as air, upper body. Reverse your arms, exhale. Warrior two, just float the upper body. Side angle, forearm to thigh, reach. Warrior two, press down. Exhale, start your half moon, walk that foot in. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, open the rib cage. And from your fingertips and your toe tips, shine out. Big inhale. Exhale, take your right hand down and square your hips. Step back slowly, carefully. Inhale, lift your chest, both legs straight. Left leg, left foot left of center, and fold. Bend your knee, inhale, look forward. Three-legged dog. Set it down, take a vinyasa or child's pose. Step your right foot forward. Walk your hands inside your right foot. Walk your hands to the left and turn your feet sideways on your mat for Prasarita. And just take a moment to kind of examine your feet. Outer heels are parallel to the short edge of the mat. Press into your fingertips here. Little tiny micro bend in the knees. And then dial your sitting bones back and apart and widen your sitting bones here. As you exhale, feel the lowest part of the belly draw back, right above your pubic bone. Pull that back and then gently fold. Drop your head. I'm going to use this as a little bit of an inversion today. So I want your head heavy and low. Feel the legs like pillars of strength holding you here. So then the spine can just trickle down. Just rinsing off, rinsing through. Take one more breath here. Ground down into your hands. Lift your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to turn your toes out about 20 or 30 degrees. So your heels spin in, your toes turn out. Good. And bend your right knee and just shift your weight to the right, but keep your hands where they are. So we're just kind of leaning over to the right there, and then come back to center. And now bend your left knee, kind of lean to the left, but keep your hands about where they are. Good, come back to center. Lean to your right again. But now I want you to pull your spine forward and get your butt back further. So you kind of stretch the rib cage. Come back to center. Bend your left knee, get your butt back, and slide your rib cage forward. Relax your neck. Back to center. So you can keep this movement. If you want to go a little deeper, you can, but you'll have to spin the straight leg up to the sky. And we're going to inhale in between, lifting the hips, and exhale, dropping the hips. And I want you to kind of live inside of the experience. Even though maybe you can find the deeper pose, it may not be as beneficial. Sometimes going in and really checking in with the experience we're having, we can make choices that are going to amplify our progress. They're actually going to support us more. Sometimes that looks like challenging ourselves. Sometimes it looks like backing off. Good. You're going to take one more to each side. Say the next time you end up on the left side, that'll be the last one there. Good. And then you'll turn your toes forward once again towards the long edge of your mat. Push into your hands, inhale, lift your chest. And then option to either grab your outer ankles and fold, or if you want a shoulder stretch, you can interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders back, and come in here. But if you're just following directions and you're just matching shapes outside of yourself, it's really hard to do what's best for you. So yoga is this internal investigation around how do you live inside of the experience in your circumstances. Take one more breath. Walk your hands towards your right foot, please. Spin your feet to the front of the room. And step back to downward dog. Then lower your knees. Cat cow, really sweet. You're going to pull your heels up though when you lift the pelvis. And you're going to do the segments again. So pelvis, ribs, then the neck. Exhale, put your feet down, pelvis, rib cage, head. Pick your heels up, pelvis, rib cage, then lift the face. Exhale, pelvis, press the feet down, rib cage, then the face. Good, do that one more time. You might notice it's a little awkward to try to segment the spine as we pick up and lower the feet. Live inside of the awkwardness. And neutralize your spine. Take your right knee behind your left knee, please. Just cross it back there. Separate your feet. And then think cat-cow here as well. So pelvis, rib cage, face. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage, face. One more time, pelvis, rib cage, face. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage, face. So soften in that middle space for your spine. And then start to tug the hips back. You may just simply come onto your elbows and hang out here. You might be able to pull the pelvis back. It's like a twisted child's pose, a tangled up child's pose. If you want to sit all the way back between the heels and lift your chest, you can. All of those positions are valuable. It's just a matter of figuring out And you can't figure out what's best for you, right? If you're not living in the experience, if you're just taking my recommendation, watch out. I'd like you to have some expertise and some fluency inside of your own body, your own experience. And then we can work together and collaborate and create more. That internal awareness is everything. That ability to live inside in the moment, because it's going to change. We could do the same practice tomorrow and you'll have an entirely different experience. What's going on right now? One more breath here, just really soak it in. Spread it through to enliven the tissue, to rinse out. And rock up. Nice and slow. Pause, close your eyes, and just register what's happening. And then undo. Your knees are going to come together again. Left knee goes behind the right knee this time. That segmental cat-cow. So pelvis, rib cage, face. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage, face is last. Do that one more time, pelvis. It's really interesting. The face wants to really lead the way. Interesting, just an observation, not a judgment, right? That we have this outward sensory, find neutral spine, and then you're just going to tug the hips back a little bit and kind of check it out. Maybe you drop your elbows. Maybe you pull the hips back a little more like child's pose. Maybe you can sit all the way in between the heels. And one of the things we start to recognize too, hopefully, is that just because you can, should you? Yeah, that one. Just because you can, should you? And sometimes it's a big resounding yes. Other times it's like, maybe not. And if you start to kind of live inside of the experience, even just your half life of the breath there, and you examine the temperature and the texture of the body, you go inside, you can make better choices for yourself. Which a lot of times, less is more. Especially when it's being done with precision, full intention. It's more powerful. It's more impactful. With one more breath here, try to spread the band of your kidneys by the way that you're breathing. And just soften, receiving the pose, receiving the benefits, not resisting. And start to walk it back up. Bring your hands underneath you. Pause and just notice. Take in the experience. Unwrap the legs. Take a seat. We're going to come onto our backs in Vinyasa. So you'll draw the inside of the feet together and you'll lay on your back. You might want to put a blanket or a block under your head, especially if you're having a hard time keeping the head on the floor. Because I want your whole spine on the floor. I want you to feel the weight of gravity offloading the spine as you open your hips. And in the shape, bring the baby toe side of the foot closer together. So it's like you're trying to mash the baby toe side of the foot. Take one more breath here. Feel the little spaces between each of your discs offloaded. So we're no longer standing, we're no longer twisting. Just live inside of each of those little discs. Feel them rehydrating. Feel all the muscles along the sides of your spine relaxing. And live inside of that experience as well. Feel this maximum nourishment. We're not working against our tissues, but we're working with them. And set your feet down. Widen your feet and knock your knees together. So separate your feet wider than your hips. Knees are going to tap together. And again, just close your eyes and feel. And then check in. Do you need anything else before Shavasana? If your body's asking for a twist or a sip of water, or a blanket to cover up with, that you give yourself this moment to live inside of the current experience and see, can you intervene in any way at all? And if you can, intervene. Otherwise, let your practice go. Shavasana. Live inside of this experience. There's some levity in the body, some stillness in the mind. There's all of this space that we've created and worked into to strengthen and to open. Can you live inside of this space and let it inform you on a deep soul level? It rehydrates you from your deepest essence, all the way to the most outer layer of you. One more minute here to relax more than you ever have. Everything outside of the skin fall away. And this deep nourishment to the very center. Living in that moment of nourishment. And more seconds to dissolve more than you ever have. Deepen your breath so slowly. Pull the breath from your feet up to your head. And as you exhale, ride the wave of the breath down your body and feel this deep sense of peace, of ease. Keep that with you As you bend your knees, roll over to your side and use your arm as a pillow. Live inside of this experience too. Like, feel that the work that you did today is going to help you avoid future suffering. Just soak that in. And rise to seated as you're ready. And meet with our hands at our hearts. Feel the levity of the spine gently supporting through the sides of the waist to pull the spine up towards the heavens. You feel your lower body very earthy, very connected to this plane. And we start to live inside of the paradox of being this heaven-bound creature, but this grounded creature as well. Each experience, each moment is an opportunity to dive deeply into being human, the messiness, the wobbliness, the beauty, the strength. And to dive in and have that experience more often. Let it inform your unfolding. Thank you so much for your practice. Namaste. Namaste.